A professor stood before his philosophy class and had some items in front of him. When the class began, wordlessly, he picked up a very large and empty jar and proceeded to fill it with golf balls. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. So the professor then picked up a box of small pebbles and poured them into his jar. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles rolled into the open areas between the golf balls. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed it was. The professor next picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He once again asked them if the jar was full, and the students responded with unanimous yes. The professor then produced 2 cans of beer from under the table and poured the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the empty space between the sand. The students laughed. "Now," said the professor, as the laughter subsided, "I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things: your family, your children, your health, your friends, and your favorite passions, things like that. If everything was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the things that matter, like your job, your house, and your car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand into the jars first," he continued, "there's no room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same goes for your life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff and you never have room for the things that are important to you, pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with your children. Take time to get medical checkups. Take your partner out to dinner. There's always time to clean the house and fix the rubbish. Take care of the golf balls first, and the things that really matter, set your priorities. The rest is just sand." One of the students raised her hand and inquired what had the beer represented. The professor smiled. "I'm glad you asked. It just goes to show you that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a couple of beers. Don't equate making mistakes with being a mistake. There is no such thing as a successful person who has not failed or made mistakes. There are successful people who made mistakes and changed their lives or performances in response to them, and so they got it right for the next time. They viewed mistakes as warnings rather than signals of hopelessness. Never making a mistake means never living life to the full. It is the voice that's telling you that you will, only can do, accomplish, or reach very little, or even worse, simply nothing. Thought creates or magnetizes our personalities and attitudes. Dominating thoughts will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical actions and gradually transform into physical realities. The thoughts we have from the time we wake up will definitely determine our attitude and our day. We bring to our lives what we think about most of the time, and where we guide our focus and mind is where we'll end up. Luck favors the prepared mind. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is just simply trust them. Take action now. If you're ready to increase your income, work from home to be with your family, pay off all your bills and travel, and provide for more for you and your family, click the image below. Enter your email and watch the whole video as our friend Adam explains the system. Your family really deserves it. If I can do it, so can you. This is Vince Pangori.